Loyalty is rare, but loyalty is everything. You cannot say that you are connected to somebody and then you are not paying attention to the rules of that person. You are not paying attention to the stipulations of that person. It's not about you. It's about what that person wants from you. And that is why we come to know it. Christ is very serious that, that servant that is faithful is the one that stays awake, that is there to receive instruction from the master. And he goes on in order to carry it out. Sister, how do you carry out the instruction from God? Brother, how do you carry out the instruction from God? Many of us have divided attention. Our interest is always, I belong to this group. I am a member of this church. That is faith, but faith is not enough. As they normally say, that charity is love in action. In the same way, faithfulness is faith in action. You cannot talk about you are pitching your tent in one religion. You are pitching your tent in one belief without being faithful. If you are not faithful, your faith is useless. And that is why in the second reading today, Abraham, Sarah, especially Abraham, back to Abraham again, in Hebrew chapter 11, was given to us as an icon of faith. What qualified him? Because he was faithful. And we know it. Even the Sarah that the Bible today is referring as a role model of faith. You know it was not easy for Sarah. Yet she believed as the husband believed. But at a point in time, she was not faithful. What do I mean by that? I take you to the word of God in Genesis. Genesis chapter 18. When those men from God, when Abraham saw vision of men that were coming, and he opened his door, and when they entered, he found out that these people are God. They are from God themselves. We call them divine realities. They are not just angels. They are not just human beings. By the time Abraham was opening his doors, he thought that this is ordinary people. But from verse 2 of Genesis 18, the way he addresses them tells you that he now found out that these people are, if they are not God, they are angels. If they are not angels, they are from God. And he started addressing them as what? Lord. And then by the end of the day, in verse 10, when they were entertained and welcomed, of course, Abraham welcomed them. Sarah was the one serving the food. So Sarah was faithful also, and he was keeping to the terms of the visitors. But by the end of the day, when they pronounce in verse 10 of Genesis 18, by this time next year, your wife will carry a son. And what happened? Somebody somewhere had them. Somebody somewhere else dropped. And that person was Sarah. And she started doing what? Laughing. You can see the connection between faithfulness and faith. Yes, they have faith. Her husband is good. She's also good to go. And when those men, the angels of God, found out that Sarah was laughing, and they accosted Sarah directly, though they asked Abraham, why was your wife laughing? And because Sarah had them accosting her husband on behalf of her, she now responded, verse 12 of Genesis 18, that I am not laughing. That is lie. That is unfaithfulness. You can imagine. But one good thing is that she actually made a point. The point is that she knows what it is. It's not just that she believes, but then you cannot believe by actually doubting what God can do. If you actually have faith in God, it means that you will believe everything, and it will show in your life and character. For her, she served them food, but the mistake she made is that when these people declared the blessings of God, she counted herself out. You cannot have faith and then you cannot be blessed. But what makes us to count ourselves out when you have faith and then you are not faithful? Imagine a husband and wife that are married. How do they call it? Fidelity in marriage. It's not just getting married, but also there are rules of the game. And once you are not keeping to the rule of the game, you become unfaithful. And then which means that the institution of marriage as an institution on it, is no longer a thing for you to believe. How can you become unfaithful in marriage? and you believe that marriage is already an institution, if you are actually pitching tent on the marriage, it means that you have faith in marriage. And then the best of it is that you must be faithful. You cannot be unfaithful in marriage and you see marriage as a platform. Back to Sarah now, and we see she lied and she lied. Through our lying, we become unfaithful. And that is the truth about it. The first reading brought out everything today, and we see it. It's from the book of wisdom. And the wisdom comes to relate the history of the people of Israel. It started in Wisdom 18 and verse 6.